what you just mentioned about meditation. Is it something that we would be utilizing that sort of breathing for dealing with stress and anxiety?
Yeah, it's a great tool to be able to intercept stress and anxiety, and chronic stress is just the acute stress response practiced over and over again, and then it spills into chronic stress, and a symptom of that is anxiety. But we need to be able to push back against the stress during the day, because most of us are preparing for battle all day, whether it be we're at work and then we're rushing this way and that way, or we're an athlete and there's the constant load. So that ends up becoming the stress. And this breathing is a great way to have focused bouts of breathing meditation throughout the day that shift your nervous system back into that calm state, rather than being in that upregulated state, which we can adapt to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would that go down the path of short breathing, short and shallow breathing?
Yeah, one of the adaptations we make to chronic stress is that it affects our breathing, because chronic stress is adrenaline. Adrenaline increases your breathing rate. We tend to shift and start using the accessory muscles to breathing, the upper chest and the shoulders, a vertical type of breath. It's just, just like we adapt to the specialization, like whether it be sitting for 8 hours a day staring at a screen, or that you're an athlete and you're training all the time and you're specialized in your training because you play rugby or surfing or whatever, the body will just adapt, and the body adapts to stress. And one of the key body systems that becomes upregulated is your breathing. And so, often if we're dealing with someone who's chronically stressed or anxious, you have to look at the breathing, because the breathing ends up becoming the physiological disturbance that creates stress, because you're breathing too fast, or you're breathing too into your upper chest. That when you breathe into the upper chest, it actually activates the stress response. So it's all tethered, and the breathing is such a powerful one way to regulate stress and pressure.
Interesting. Yeah, really, really quite a powerful tool, really, when you think about it. And it seems such a simple skill tool to apply, yet probably not that many people know about it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd also, if you think about breathing, it's not, it is actually innervated by the autonomic nervous system. So we don't need to think about it. We can, but the breathing is different in that we can take conscious control of it. You can prolong your inhale, prolong your exhale, you can hold the breath. And so, the great thing about breathing is that we can use it, again, controlling the rate, softening the breath, quietening the breath, getting better access to the diaphragm, in a way to be able to elicit a really calm state and shift yourself in real time. So if we take this into a dynamic situation where you're confronted with stress or pressure or whatever it might be, and you feel physiologically stressed, so stress in your body, and you feel psychologically stress in your mind, pertaining to your mind, what you can do is just in that moment, tap back into your breathing, take conscious control of it, slow the rate down. You may inhale over 4 seconds and just do an exhale over 6 seconds. And when you exhale, you literally imagine that you're letting go of the tension. I often use the cue, you're melting into the ground.
Nice.
And then there's a lot of nuance in there, other things that we can do to elicit a calm state with using the breathing in real time, like a quick body scan, relax the jaw, relax the chest, and relax the shoulders, because that tension that we're holding is part of that freeze response, which is part of that sympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system, that fight or flight or freeze division.
Fascinating. Yeah. What would it be? What would you say? Maybe like a generic cadence breathing cycle that say anyone listening, what could they do? Is it just a generic starter for them?
Yeah, as a generic starter, we always hear this box breathing, which is like generally a 4-4-4-4. So 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, 4-second exhale, 4-second hold. And that will take your breathing rate, down to about 6 breaths per minute. But what I like, what I'd like to do, like when I hear that 4-4-4-4, is that we should change that to 4-4-6-4. The out breath should always be longer than the inhale. Inhale is more active, exhale is more passive. So when you exhale, you create more parasympathetic tone. So we should always have I feel if we're trying to use it as a form of like getting relaxed, we should always have a slightly longer exhale. But in terms of cadence breathing and programming numbers to the different parts of the breathing cycle, it is very much individualized. Like, I don't find a 4-4-4-4 calming. I need longer on the inhale, longer
Mm.
on the hold, longer on the exhale. So you play around with it. This is the great thing. Like, we all want to program and structure, but be creative. Just play around with it. And what I'd say, make sure the exhale is longer than the inhale. You may want to hold the breath for longer, inhale for longer, play around with it. It's very simple, and you can get breathing cadence apps on the smartphone. You just go into the app store and breathing cadence.
Cool.
Yeah,
a little tool to apply, easy to manage.
Yeah, the great thing about this is it's all internal. We often, to deal with stress and pressure, we often look externally. Things like alcohol, food. They're never going to solve the problem, which is internal.
What's wrong with a couple of beverages on a Friday evening?
Absolutely nothing. No, that's actually. I mean, I enjoy having a beer every night. I find that quite relaxing.
Do you cadence breathing while having your beer, just to enjoy it more and relax?
I keep those two separate, to be honest, but you could. I don't know if you're doing the cadence breathing throughout the day, whether it would be a good idea, but if you're doing it in the evening, you could. Yeah, absolutely.